Hey YouTube family, welcome back to today's video. So for today's video, I thought I would do another story time video. I did do a poll on Twitter that is still ongoing, so I don't know why I'm filming this video now when the poll is not closed. But as of right now, I see that the Forever 21 horror story, working at Forever 21 horror story, has the more votes. So I'm gonna go off and do that story time video. Okay, so a little bit of a background story. This took place in 2014 through 2015. I have at least 3 major stories that I want to go ahead and let you guys know that were just like, I just couldn't believe that it happened. So I'm gonna go in chronological order. If you guys, obviously, I think that's the best way to start. You know, in Forever 21, it's been like probably 2-3 months. A lot of people started quitting. And our store manager, who had hired me, and I really thought he was cool, was sent out and switched to a different Forever 21. So we were receiving a new store manager. Our co-manager, who I was like, he was just amazing. He was fun. Like, the reason why I got along with him so well was because of my cousin. He was just amazing. He ended up quitting because he said he couldn't handle it anymore. And we got sent a new co-manager. Things started falling apart once this co-manager came in to the store. So the first story that I have to tell you going on with that is that I believe that she took advantage of the fact that I was nice. I remember there was this one day where I was really tired and I was so ready to take my 10, but it was a busy day, so one of the other managers had told me that I was gonna go on my 10 soon, and I was like, that's fine, like, you know, it's busy, don't worry about it, like, you know. And it was time for me to clock out. And so then this co-manager comes up to me and she's like, hey, she's like, did you take your 10? And I was like, no, I actually didn't take my 10, like, you know. I was like, but that's fine, like, I just want to go home. And she's like, no, she's like, that's unacceptable, like, you know. And she's like, she mentioned the manager's name. She's like, she cannot be doing that to you. That is something that is against the law. And I was like, I understand. I was like, but I really don't mind. Like, it was busy. Like, I understand that he has a job to do. He did let me know that I was going to go on my 10, but I told him that it was okay because it was busy and he needed people on the floor. I was like, so it's also partially my fault, like, you know. And she's like, no. She's like, I'm gonna need you to come back with me to the office. She's like, I'm gonna need you to write a statement on this, exactly what you told me. You have to put his name, the date, and what he did wrong. And I was kind of like, it's not a big deal. Like, in my head, I was like, it's not a big deal. Like, you know, I just want to go home now. I've been here for like 8 hours. I want to dip, like, you know. So I was like, whatever. I didn't want to argue with her, so I went to the back. And it was just like a really, like, a feeling that you're just like, this is not something that she's doing with good intentions, like, you know. So I listened to her. She closed the employee door, and then she closed the office door, and then she's like, no one can know about this. She's like, you say exactly what I'm saying. Like, she's like, you write exactly what I'm saying. Like, you know, you put his full name, you put what he didn't do, and that how you wanted your 10 so bad, but he didn't give it to you, and you're tired, and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. Not only did she close the employee door where it says employees only, and the office door, you know what she did? You know what this lady did to me? She's like, go in the bathroom, and she's like, and write that statement, like, you know. And she locked me in the bathroom and didn't let me go out of the bathroom. Like, she locked herself in the bathroom with me and didn't let me out until, like, I wrote exactly what she wanted me to write, like, you know. And then she leaves, and then she signs it. She's like, oh, I'm the witness that you complained to me. She's like, and then you know what she says? You know what this bitch says? This woman tells me, no one can know about this, okay? She's like, you did the right thing coming to me. Bitch, you came to me asking me if he had given me my 10, and I said no, and I said that I didn't give a shit because I just want to dip. Like, it's my time to go. I'm tired, my feet hurt, I'm hungry, I'm not in the mood, and it's hot. Like, this little piece of shit store is so small that the AC don't even circulate around the store, like, you know. So she's like, no one can know about this. She's like, you did the right thing. She's like, don't worry. She's like, our store manager will know about this. She's like, and this will never happen to you again. And I was kind of like, okay, no, that's a red flag. You're not doing this because you actually care about me. You're doing this because you have something against the guy who didn't give me a 10. I felt like she was racist because there has been times that happen that there's been things that occurred that she's like, no. Like, I remember some black girl came to apply, and she's like, hi, she's like, can I have an application? And I was like, of course. Like, you know, most of the time I was the cashier, so they would come to me and they would ask me if they can get an application. And I was like, of course. And I was like, hey, I asked her, I was like, let's call her, I don't know, Penelope. I asked Penelope, which is the co-manager, her fake name. I was like, Penelope, I was like, can I get an application? She wants to go ahead and apply. And then she kind of looks at her. She's like, and she turns back around, and then she gives me the application. And then she's like, no, we're not hiring her. And I kind of looked at her, and I was like, why? And I was like, why? And then she's like, She's like, no. She's like, And I was like, what the fuck? Like, did you just discriminate her because of her skin type? Like, you know? And that got me really mad, and that got me upset because I was just like, so what if she's black? Like, you know, she can apply here if she wants to. You're not even the store manager. Like, you know, like, who gives a shit? Like, that just rubbed me a wrong way. So when she told me that about, like, oh, no one can know about this, like, I knew it wasn't, like, something that she was doing out of, like that she gave a shit about me. Like, I knew it was because the assistant manager who had forgot to give me my 10 or couldn't give me my 10, or I just didn't simply take my 10. I knew she had something against him because he liked the same sex. So as soon as I walked out of the office, I walked out of the bathroom, I walked out of the office, and I walked out of the employee room, I'm like, bye guys, peace, bye, I'm out of this shithole, like, you know. And I see the assistant manager, and I tell him, like, hey, like, you know, guess what, like, Penelope just locked me up in the bathroom, made me write a statement about you, telling me what to write about you, and it's not true. Like, everything that I wrote definitely did not come from me. It came from her. She, like, literally kept me hostage in the bathroom until I wrote down everything that she told me to write down, like, you know. And he was kind of like, oh my god, like, you know. And I told him too. I was like, you know, she told me not to tell anybody. I was like, but I'm not a fake bitch. I'm not a bitch, and I'm telling you right now so you can know, and you can go ahead and do whatever with that information, do whatever you want with that, and tell whoever you want, just so you won't get in trouble. I was like, if you need me as a witness, I'll back you up, and you back me up, because that's what we're here for. Like, you know, I just got along with everybody. And he was kind of like, what the fuck? Like, you know, he was kind of like, he wasn't expecting that, like, you know. So the next day, I came back to work, and the store manager was there. And, oh, actually, he was not there. He actually had called in early that morning, and he wanted to speak to me over the phone. And I was like, hello, this is Angela's. So he's like, what is this? He's like, what is that you wrote a complaint about? Let's call him Nick. He's like, you wrote a complaint about Nick. He's like, that he, you know, that whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop, what I had just said. And I was like, no. I was like, actually, I'm very glad you called. I was like, because Penelope made me write everything that you're reading at the moment. I was like, it wasn't something that I wanted to do. I was like, she locked me in the bathroom and basically told him everything that had happened. And he was kind of like, holy cow, like, she locked you in the bathroom, like, that's not acceptable. And I was like, yeah, you can even look at the cameras. I was like, you can see how she's, like, pushing me in the bathroom and she wouldn't let me go. I was like, and then you're probably not going to see her in the frame of the camera because she's in the bathroom with me. I was like, so that's what happened. I was like, if you need to talk to me in person, come down to the store. I'll be here from 8 to 5, like, you know. You won't miss me here, like, you know. And so he came down, he talked to me and everything, and that's when she kind of, like, was like, oh, well, I can't mess with this girl because she will, you know, talk. So from that point on, I saw that she wasn't a nice person, and I just didn't like her. So from then on, I felt like I couldn't respect her because of how she was and how she acted and how she thought she could take advantage of me to kind of probably get this other person fired, like, you know. So from there, she would always throw jabs at me, and I would, you know, throw jabs at her because I was like, bitch, I can handle it, I can take it. This is another story, and they're all about her too, like, and just how horrible management was to take care of their employees. I was taking my 10. Oh yeah, I was taking my 10, and I was with one of my coworkers, and she was always like in a mood. I don't know why. Like, she would always fight with customers too. That's the thing. She would always pick a fight with customers, and customers would always complain about her, which I really don't understand why she was still working there. She had a horrible, horrible record with her employees and with customers and with the store manager, like, you know. So basically, my coworker, my friend, used to always put her fixie in the office, which was formerly known as the employee room, because that's the employee room. And ever since she came in, she was the one who was like, this is an office, only managers are allowed in the office, like, you know. I was like, bitch, but the bathroom is in the office, I need to use the restroom. She has her fixie in the office, and she can clearly see that the fixie is kind of blocking the doorway, because the store manager, the person who actually counts as a manager, he told her that it was perfectly fine, she could leave her bike there, like, you know. And for some reason, Penelope was in this mood, like, I don't know, I know she had something against me. She had a grudge against me since the time she tried to put that shit on me. But I didn't give a shit. She knew that I didn't like her. I knew she didn't like me. Whatever. She told my friend, she's like, you gotta move your bike. She's like, your bike can't go here. Like, you know, so she acknowledged the fact, and she actually let us know that she knew that the bike was right there. So, you know what this bitch does? She goes, you gotta move your bike. Like, you know, your bike can't go there, woo-doo-woo-doo-woo. And then my friend's like, yeah, well, our store manager told me that it's okay for me to leave my bike there. And then she's like, well, he's not here right now, is he? Like, you know? And we're just like, what is your issue? Like, you know, what's your deal? And I'm telling my friend, like, probably it's just because I'm with you and you're talking to me, that's why she's giving you this bitch attitude. I was like, but just be a bitch back, like, you know. And she clocks out, and she ends up slamming the door office, and that leads the door hitting the center of the bicycle, and the bicycle ends up falling, and it's just like a really big chaotic thing, like, you know. And I get mad because it's not her, she knew the bike was right there, and she let us know that the bike was right there. So she did that intentionally, knowing that the door was going to hit the bike. So I get mad, I get up, and I'm like, Penelope, I was like, that is so rude. Like, you know, I, at this point, didn't give a shit that she was my co-manager. I didn't give a shit that she was above me. She didn't act like she was above me. She didn't deserve my respect. She didn't deserve anybody's respect, because she was just rude. And I'm usually not that type of person who I'm just like, oh, she don't deserve my respect. Oh, no, fuck her. She don't, no. She actually legitimately showed us that she didn't give a shit. So I got mad, and I was like, Penelope, I know you can hear me, Penelope. I was like, I know. I was just so mad. I was like, I know you can hear me. I was like, that is so rude. I was like, you ruined her bike. I was being dramatic though, you know. I was like, you ruined her bike, and woo. And then my friend, she got mad because obviously bikes aren't fixies, bikes aren't cheap. So that night she rode home, and she ended up getting into an accident. So she ended up breaking her arm, and I was basically saying like that was Penelope's fault, because she hit your bike so hard that it must have, like, when she tried braking, I guess she couldn't brake, so she ended up hitting a car, and a car hit her, or whatever, vice versa, and she ended up breaking her arm. So her dad came down the next day and was accusing her of like slamming the door on her daughter's bike, and she was like, no, I didn't do it, like, oh, I didn't know the bike was there. And I was like, you god fucking liar. So on to my next and last final, the one that actually ticked me the most, and I was like, I can't, this is a year, I believe, a year already working into Forever 21. I had just gotten to work. It was 10 o'clock in the morning. They put me in the fitting room, and I hated being the fitting room attendant. Like I said, this was a slow morning. I was helping two customers at a time because I always got told that I had really good customer service. So the lady that I was helping, she had at least like 3 items, but she seemed to be in a really big rush. And I let her know, like, my name is Angela. If you need anything, please let me know. Like, I can even go ahead and grab something. I'm sorry, I feel like my eyelash is like poking me. So like I was saying, it seemed like she was in a rush, like, but at the same time, I usually like to close the doors for our customers just because I feel like it's polite, like, and at the same time, there was another customer who was asking me where a pair of like a shirt or pants were, like, and I was trying to let her know, but I guess like the lady who, like I said, she was in such a big rush, she didn't notice that I was pulling the door for her. For some reason, I miscalculated where to lean on because I was pulling the door, but I was also like, I like to rest my hand while pulling the door so it won't slam. So I guess I miscalculated the fact that my fingers were not in the right place. So when this lady like slammed the door and I was helping this other customer, like talking to her, making eye contact, she ended up squishing 3 of my fingers on the door. She noticed that the door didn't close, so she opened it again and closed it again. And the lady who I was talking to, she saw my face and my whole demeanor change at that moment. I was like really like happy, and and she saw when my fingers got crushed. She heard my fingers crack, like, and she was like, oh, like, oh shit, like, I just saw you get your fingers slammed twice. So this lady, the one that was being really, well, I thought she was being really rude, but I didn't want to, like, start my day off bad. She opens the door and she's like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. And I just looked at her and I was like, I can't look at you. I was like, I was like, no. I didn't say anything. I was just like, I walked away, and the lady that I was talking to, she was really sweet. At the time, I was like, bitch, why you asking me that stupid ass question? Like, but at the time, now that I think back at it, she was actually asking me a question so I can kind of forget about the pain that I was in. She asked me, she's like, oh my gosh, she's like, your lipstick is so pretty. She's like, what color is it? Like, kind of like trying to think about like a question to ask me. So I kind of really tried thinking about it, but the pain was just too much for me. I got 3 fingers squished. Which ones were they? There were these 3. Three. Which one was it? 3 fingers squished. It don't matter. I don't remember if it was left or right. But I looked at her and I was like, I know you're just trying to help. I was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, I cannot help you right now. Sorry. Ooh. I was like, I cannot help you right now. I was like, I'm in so much pain. I need to find a manager. Like, And she's like, no, it's totally, I totally get it. Like, she's like, I totally get it. So I run out. Like, I usually don't like to cry in front of people. I only cry, like, in front of my boyfriend, or that's about it. And my eyes were getting really watery, like, like really watery. And then at the register, we have this bell where we ding once for, I forgot what it is, but basically there's certain type of rings that we do for manager or like backup for the register. And I was dinging for a manager, like, I was like, come over here, like, ding, like, I'm in pain, like, I need a manager, I need to do a statement, I need to do like a statement saying that my fingers were crushed at the time and how I'm feeling, like, and nobody was coming for me, like, so I couldn't take it, like, no one was rushing to me. So I went to the back, I opened up I went to the back room, and I just started bawling my eyes out. Like, I was like, my fingers, like, legit, my dumbass, I had photos of my fingers and how they looked, but I got a new phone, because it wasn't charging. So when I got a new phone, my phone was at like 3%, so I couldn't save any pictures. But I used to have pictures of how fucked up my fingers were and how big and how purple and how, like, it just looked like alien fingers. My fingers just got really big on the tip, like, and really big on the tip. But I couldn't look at my fingers, and they're like, oh, there was one lady who was so sweet. She was like a mother to me. She was just the most amazing lady ever. she was like, oh my goodness, honey, she's like, you gotta put ice on it, like, she's like, we'll look for someone to come and help you, like, and she was the only one who was really, really actually helping me, because all the other girls were like, oh, it's okay, it'll like blow off, like you'll be back to work in like 15 minutes, and I'm like crying, and I'm embarrassed to cry in public, like, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I was like, I'm in just so much pain, like my fingers fucking hurt, like look, they're already purple, like, I was like, I can't even, like, I couldn't even close my finger, like, I was like, I can't, I was like, it hurts, I was like, if I move any of my fingers, I was like, it causes pain, and I was literally there, like, asking for help, asking for a manager to help me for, like, 5-10 minutes, and no one came, like, right, finally, the visual manager came in, and she took my statement, and then she wanted me to write, yeah, it was my right hand that got fucked up, she wanted me to write what happened, and I kind of looked at her, and I was like, I can't fucking hold the pencil, I can't even fucking close my hand, to fucking punch you in the face for asking me to write this fucking statement, like, so she's like, oh, right, she's like, I'll write it for you, and, she ended up writing to me. She got the lady who witnessed her name and her number, and then she's like, I was waiting for her to offer me to go to their, like, their hospital, their medical, people, and no one was offering me anything, like, like, they didn't give me ice, they didn't do shit for me, so I looked at her and I was like, you know what, I'm clocking out, I'm going to my hospital, I was like, I'm getting no medical attention here, I was like, it's not one finger, like, if it was one finger, that would be probably, I would still be in a lot of pain, I was like, but it's 3 fucking finger on my dominant hand, I was like, I can't do shit now, I was like, it's 3 fingers, they're all busted, and I was like, because my nail was almost coming off, like, it was just horrible, and I ended up going to Coffee Bean, and I asked them if I can get, like, ice, because Forever 21 was a piece of shit. They couldn't offer me shit, so I just stuck my hand in there, like, all the way, and it was horrible. My mom ended up taking me to the hospital. I had to call the new job that I had just applied to. I was like, you know what, I just had an emergency. I won't be able to make it in today. I was like, I'm so sorry. I just felt bad. I was just mostly upset because I had to make a bad impression for my this new job, like, even though this was a medical emergency, and I got x-rays done at the hospital and everything, and they just told me, I forgot what they told me it was, but that if that lady had probably closed the door on me a 3rd time, my entire fingers would have, like, so they gave me 3 days off, but my fingers weren't getting any better, so I had to keep calling off of work, and when I did come back to work, I still had to wear, like, a little cast, and Penelope put me back in the fitting rooms, and I could only work with, what fingers were they? I could only work with my pinky and my thumb, so I had to hold, like, the clothes like this, because these were the ones that got fucked up, and it would cause a strain on my hand, and I would tell her, like, you know what, I can't do this, and she'd be like, yes, you can, like, you can do it, but she was just doing that just to bug the shit out of me. So, my hospital bill came, and I told them it was workers' comp, and I had given the bill to Penelope, and she said, oh, it's okay, don't worry, I'll take care of everything, and then a month later, I got another bill from the hospital saying that it was a late fee because no one paid for the bill, and so every time I got this bill, I would go back to the company and I would be like, hey, like, have you guys not paid my bill? Like, you guys didn't offer me any fucking medical help, so I had to go find my own fucking help, like, pay my damn bill, like, I got hurt on the clock, so it just turned out to be this huge thing where she's like, oh no, we don't do that. She's like, I'm sorry, no one offered you medical help. She's like, but we don't pay for hospital hours, and I don't know, all this bullshit. And I got really mad, and I was like, you know what? I was like, I quit. I was like, you guys have to pay my medical bill because I got hurt on the clock. I was on the clock. I had to clock out to go to my fucking hospital, and I was like, but I'm not gonna pay this amount because it's your fault. Like, it's your guys' fault. You guys didn't. If you guys didn't want this, you guys should have offered me some fucking help. But y'all motherfuckers didn't. And then when the store manager, I came back that same day, that incident happened. I came back to give them my bill. I gave them everything that a doctor gave me. And the store manager was like, what happened? And he just had like this freak face on because he knew that I could possibly fucking sue them. Like, you know, he was like, no one offered you help? And I was like, no one offered me help, bitch. No one. That's why I'm coming back from my hospital. Because if they did offer me some fucking help, you wouldn't have me here right now being a bitch to you. Which I've never been a bitch to you. But I'm in so much pain that I am being a bitch to you right now. So, till this day, I don't know if they've paid my bill or not. They've stopped sending me shit, but I'm always calling. And it's gotten so bad to the point where they had to give me the people in like big corporate, their personal numbers. And I call them and I leave them voicemails and they don't call me back. And I tell them, like, you know, I've had this happen to me. I got my fingers squished. I was on the clock. I was like, no one gave me medical help, so I had to go attend to my own hospital. And I give you guys my bill. And I was saying you guys haven't paid anything off. I was like, I just want to know if you guys are still working on it. And I give them my name, my employee number, and the date that it happened. And no one calls me back. No one calls me back. And I don't know. Forever 21 is just horrible. Well, at least the store that I worked in was horrible. They didn't give a shit for their employees, and for someone who did give a shit on their employees, they would leave the store. So, working at Forever 21 for me was a horror. Especially when I got my fingers, like, almost chopped off by an impatient customer. But now my fingers are fine. Thank God I got all my fingers working. But yeah, that shit blows. I will never work again for Forever 21. I just say get that for like a summer job and that would be it. Don't do that. Like, don't plan on working at Forever 21 forever. And also don't let yourself get taken advantage of because the people that I worked with did try taking advantage of the fact that I was just like, this was my second job, so they thought that I didn't know how to, you know, work or what was appropriate for me and stuff and what happened and what should not happen. But you gotta be smart, and whatever job that you guys have, be smart, because especially if it's your first job, they will try to take advantage of you. They will try to be like, oh, she's dumb or he's dumb, this is his first job, like, you know, his paycheck might not be complete and he might not notice that. But you guys gotta be smart, okay? So yeah, that was my horror story working at Forever 21. There's a lot more stories from that place, but that's in the past. That and that woman are in my past, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it might be a very long and all over the place video, but I like doing storytime videos, and I really like how I can talk to you guys like myself in these. So hope you guys had a great day. If you guys work at Forever 21, salute you, because I couldn't take it. I only worked there for a year and I was like, fuck you, I am out of this bitch, you know. So like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed the story. This is all real, nothing was fake, just fake names to cover up the names of the people who are actually real, fortunately. So I will see you guys in my next video, and can't wait to talk to you guys again. Bye.